For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, for the record, for the record.
Yo, what's up, man? Welcome to the Homeland Daily, episode 45. My name is Dane Cameron. We want to thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. Let me introduce my panelists, my hosts for tonight. And thank you so much for everybody that's making their way in. Go ahead and WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter people, whoever you got, send a dove. The whole curfew thing is lifted. Drive and tell somebody. Shout out to your neighbors. All right. But the Homeland Daily is on. Happy Hump Wednesday. We got a great show planned for you guys. Let's start with filmmaker, dopest female I know. I'm sorry for all females that feel insulted by that, but also entrepreneur and just an incredible person, man. Give it up for Liz Charles. What up, Liz?
Hey, Dane, I love your look today. Just so you know, you came with the fitted and the hoodie. I'm feeling it. Don't worry, Rico. I see you with the fade. FYI.
I see you too, Rico. I like that fade, man. And since we're talking about Rico right now, let's give it up for singer-songwriter and producer Rico Rolando. What up, Rico?
What's up, guys? I'm feeling really good. I got my first haircut on Sunday, so I'm feeling extra swaggy for this weekend. But it's gonna be a whole bunch of.
What are you doing this weekend? You know coronavirus is still alive, right? What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. So you have to keep it to a minimum with everyone that you're hanging out with, so to make sure it's like past 6 people or something like that. So just learn all the rules, all the regulations before you decide to go out this weekend. I'm
upset with my barber right now. I actually took him off of Instagram. I unfollowed him, and I'm gonna block him because he hasn't called me. Like I literally called as soon as the government called. Hey, I hope he's listening. As soon as the government called, I said, "Hey, bro, gotta get a haircut, man. I've been struggling." And he's like, "I got you. As soon as we open up, I'm gonna call you up." And then I'm like, I drove across his institution, and there were a lot of cars out there, but mine was not out there for some reason. He forgot my number. He forgot my number. So
your barber did you dirty, bro. My barber called me like the second. I booked with him on Sunday. Like on Sunday, he doesn't even do Sundays, and on Sunday he started. So
I think it has a lot to do with head shape. I think my head shape is like literally difficult to maneuver around. So maybe that's why.
I would just like for you to know that New York opened phase 2 on Monday, and it was like open for hair salons. So I was like texting my hairstylist, like, "Girl, can we get some braids?" Whenever you got the time. She messaged me back and she's like, "I'm in Mississippi, so I'm not about to open."
Good on you, sister, man. Good on you, man. You should keeping that safety first. All right, so listen, that's before we even jump into the entertainment report, I kind of wanted to keep traditional and just ask everybody, how was your day today? So we'll start with Liz. Like, how was your day? What did you get to do today?
Today was chill. Today was wash day for the Black girls out there.
What is that?
It's an all-day affair where goddesses crown themselves in water and conditioner, and we just lather for hours. And then we wrap this ish up so that it'll last. So you know. So that's it.
I feel like it's an excuse because you guys do that every day. Every single day. I won't even go there. I'm gonna leave that. What about you?
Yeah.
What about you, Rico?
Well, I don't know. I might have been doing the same thing as Liz. It sounds like to me. But yeah, I've been blending out some neem. Neem is like really good. Like if you wanna strengthen your hair and like grow your hair a little bit better. So I blended that up with some like a little bit of conditioner and a little bit of orange, and it's been doing really good. So
are you trying to grow out your hair?
I am. I'm trying to grow my hair out like afro.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
We will see,
I'm,
guys. No,
I'm your friend. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, man. I don't know.
you
We'll
know
see,
what?
though.
I'll wait till
I've
I
been
see
wrong
it.
before. Yeah, I've been wrong before, so I'll leave
It
it
might
alone.
be a whole different name. I go under. You never know. Whole alias. We'll see.
All right, man. My day was pretty well occupied. I was very busy today, but at the same time, I realized that there was definitely something in our air because I've been having a major allergy reaction to
Mm.
whatever it is. I'm pretty sure we'll find out in the entertainment report. So we're gonna jump
Yeah,
into that right now. Rico Rolando.
yeah, most definitely, guys. So we all remember that, or we all know that 2020 will definitely be a year that we will never forget, whether it's from earthquakes to forest fires, COVID-19, and now basically all the Caribbean is going through a scene straight out of the Mummy right now. So the Saharan dust has swept through the Caribbean and will definitely be with us for the next few days. So I know Dane has that clip. As the second sweep is also going to be approaching by Monday next week. Now, the Saharan dust storm is almost 2 miles thick and hundreds of miles long, and is said to be the worst dust storm in the Caribbean for decades.
Ooh.
But the benefit through the Saharan dust is also hurricanes hate dry air, and they need hot, humid, and calm environment. So as long as the Saharan dust is around, it's likely that you'll see national hurricane centers watching for the areas of tropics. So what do you guys think? It's kind of crazy that we're experiencing like all of this. Like, is this supposed to be the worst dust storm in decades? And it's
First of
all happening
all,
in 2020. It's
first of
crazy.
all, that is not a damn dust. That is an alien. Um, and that is a spaceship, and they don't want to be seen because they know that we're fighting over racial injustice right now.
Oh,
So nobody wants to land on planet Earth or the USA, or they probably coming to kidnap Trump, which I'm all for because it's heading to Florida right after. I am all for that.
it's crazy. Liz, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I be breathing terrible air quality all the time. I had to get an air purifier for my allergies. So
I mean,
welcome.
but 2 miles thick, 2 miles thick and hundreds of miles long. Like that's a lot, especially
You
to the
know
Caribbean.
what? It's like, have you ever? I went to China once, and like
Mm-hmm.
mainland China, like people, they already wearing the mask.
Yeah,
Just like you
yeah.
open the window, you be like, this is crazy. We're just so accustomed to like our clean air and beautiful
Yeah,
water and Cayman lifestyle. You know what it is?
most
Yeah,
definitely.
we're privileged, very
Yeah,
privileged here.
for sure. Well, we're gonna kick things off into what's going on in international news. So as we all are still protesting and watching the Black Lives Matter movement, Barbara Streisand has decided to also help the young daughter of George Floyd. So 6-year-old Gianna Floyd, after posting about the nice gesture, captioning, "Thank you, Barbara Streisand, for my package. I am now a Disney stockholder thanks to you." So now it's unclear how much Barbara gave her in shares, but considering all of that and really like calling the girl and telling her like the good news, I think this is a good gesture. But what do you guys think?
I think it's beautiful. First of all, that's such a Jewish gift. I'm just don't hate on me,
Yeah,
but like to give something that's gonna appreciate and value something that isn't, worth that's something that's worth cash, but isn't
yeah,
necessarily the cash, so you can't
Mm,
touch it immediately when you're still a child. Like you gotta wait a while before you can
yeah,
touch that, like you bought
yeah,
mitzvah money.
yeah.
So I think it's a great idea because Disney's shares are going to be worth so much more by the time she is an adult. And
Yeah.
one of the things that Dane and I were talking about yesterday is financial health and building wealth and the
Hmm.
fact that we need to do that. And so she's really helping this little girl to start to understand investing. And
Hmm.
so as opposed to just cash. And I think someone else had already committed, don't quote me on this, but I think it might have been Kanye.
Okay.
yeah.
Somebody else committed to paying for her college tuition already.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was fun.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that those kinds of gifts they stop the problem that Dane was like talking about, which is somebody gets a bunch of cash and they're not responsible enough yet to know how to
Mhm,
handle
mhm.
it. She's a little child. She's not supposed
Yeah,
to. This
yeah,
way, no one can take advantage of it. I love it.
yep, true.
Absolutely. I'm the same with that too. Like I'm really discouraged when I see people just give money thinking that that's going to fix a problem. Because if you're
Mhm.
giving money to people that's always been in a financial crisis, it's always going to
Yep,
cause more problem because they've
yep,
never received that type of money before. So you always need to teach them how to build financial wealth. That was a great gift because she's earning something that's going to continue to grow, that's going to continue to profit. We know where Walt Disney's is heading, and we don't see anything bad happen. It's not like Walt Disney's 2020, right? So
yep.
at the end of the day, I see good things for Walt Disney.
Mhm.
But I'm glad that these are the type of gifts that's been given. That's definitely going to stand out for a long time.
Yep, most definitely. And when you guys think of, we're gonna switch it completely, but when you guys think of like Queen Bee and music, who's the first person that you guys think of?
You
My
just said her
wife,
name.
Beyonce. Yeah, Beyonce.
Exactly, Beyonce. But you guys, it looks like Britney Spears also had something else to say today, as she posted with the caption. What's the caption right now? To all my friends who call me Queen Bee, I believe this is more accurate.
She said fans, and and okay, okay. I mean, I don't. Oh my god, I don't even know what to say. You go
I
ahead,
mean,
Liz.
I don't know. Are we just, do we think that Britney's still like cuckoo, or is she a queen bee in her own right?
Uh, Britney Spears was dropped. Britney Spears is currently not in existence. She's not. That's not Beyonce. That's not the. How am I going to say Beyonce? That's not the Britney Spears we remember. That's not the Walt Disney girl that we grew up with. She was abducted a long time ago. That's a fake Britney Spears that you guys are seeing.
Having
Yo,
said that, I do think that she is her own queen bee in her
No,
own sense.
do you have
Just
the
listen.
picture? Do you
Just
have
give
the
me a
second
second.
picture of
no.
Britney?
Give
Do you
me
have the
a
second picture of Britney real quick,
second.
dude? Hey,
Yes.
put up the second picture of Britney.
How is that a queen?
Just give
How
me a
is that a
second.
queen?
What had happened was y'all are cherry picking data, okay?
No, I'm
Because
not.
you need to remember
That
what
is her
year
second photo on
2000
the
to
Instagram.
2005, whenever
Name
her
one
run
Britney Spears
was.
song. Name
Hit me,
one
baby,
Britney
one
Spears.
more time. Oops, I
And
did
listen,
it again.
look
Like,
what you went for.
listen,
You had
the
a
she's
your
so
childhood was
lucky.
different.
No, stop it. For little girls everywhere and little gay boys, okay? Britney was a queen for her
No,
time, and she did a
no,
lot for her time.
no.
And
She was
it's
no.
I mean, I
unfortunate.
don't know.
It's
Hey,
unfortunate the way that things unfolded, but don't diss Britney's legacy.
hey,
She got a
come here, little
legacy.
kids. Come here, little kids. Let me tell you what Uncle Dane wants to say. Do not do drugs, or else you will end up like Britney Spears. She is the poster child for why to never do drugs.
You
Okay,
don't you
that's
don't know. You don't know.
I know. I don't. You're right. I saw. I saw. She
You know
damn
what?
well
One
walked around like Rico one day with her hair bald.
Yes, we know. We
thing.
remember the umbrella and the shaved head, okay? We don't need you to remind us.
I don't know. I mean, it's like to call yourself queen bee, like that's a lot of guts. I think it's a lot of guts. But then at the same time, it's like there's only one Britney Spears. Like when you think of queen of like pop for like in the 2000s, early 90s, like
Thank
the
you,
late 90s,
Rico.
you think of Britney Spears. Like there was no one else above Britney at that point, and then
It
she
was
was
like
with
Britney and Aaliyah. Like that was it. Like
yeah,
the white and black versions.
yeah, yeah.
Yo, Prince is a whole lot more cuter than Britney Spears.
Goodbye, Dane. I can't with you.
No way.
Prince is the
They're
all-time
not in the same
female
category.
best female singer of all time. Prince
Rico,
is
please
cute.
help us. Just
As a
No.
man, as a grown man, I can admit I have said, "Yo, Prince, you are cute." Like, whoa! Like I have said that as a grown ass man. I've literally. Hey, hey, Prince is cute. Ain't nobody can call me anything for that. Prince is cute. You a cute little female. That's what you are, and everybody
Oh,
knows.
Jesus, fix it. Fix it.
Prince is dead. Leave Prince out of this.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot he's dead. I can't
This
even
was a
talking about it.
lovely entertainment report. This was beautiful. Wonderful.
It was most definitely.
Rochelle said I'm straight up hating on Britney Spears. Hell
He
yeah.
is
And
Rochelle. Like
hell
he needs
yeah.
somebody needs to calm
Hell yeah.
him. Like he
Let me put
forgot
capital.
about the
Hell yeah.
2000s. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'll put a
Well,
capital
guys,
H
that's
on my
all
hoodie.
for entertainment report. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna pass it over to Dean right now, and yeah, let's see what we have for tonight.
Definitely going to speak to a king. And we're going to bring him on right now because the things that he's doing around the USA and the world, because it's definitely buzzing around the world, and definitely somebody that doesn't represent anything near to what beyond Britney Spears does. Let's give it up for our guest tonight, Kevin Welbeck. Kevin, thank you for joining us, man. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
First of all, I just want to thank you for putting up with all of what you just saw in the background. That's the first thing I want to thank
It's
you
all
for.
good. I mean, but Liz did have a point. Brittany
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to say that this one time.
None of you guys are black. I'm disappointed. I'm gonna ask the light skinned guy.
No,
Oh man.
All right, Kevin. Listen, man. I want to thank you for, in a serious note, for giving us the most important asset, and that's your time, man. We really respect it. I'm just proud of all the things that you've been doing. We've been seeing it. We read the articles, and Liz has been speaking highly of you. So we're excited to have you on the show.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you for joining.
Of course.
Kevin, you are someone who first of all, you are not going to remember this, but you wouldn't know this. I remember the very first time I saw you at church. And it was literally like, this is at one church in LA, and it was during worship, and he was sitting in the front, but he was just like dancing, like he was going all out. And those of you who grew up with me know that, like, if I spot a dancer, like in my spirit, I'm like, yes. But I think that you have maintained that kind of enthusiasm for whatever work you're doing. And so I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about what you've been doing during this very transformative moment that the U.S. is going through in terms of its fight for social justice.
Okay. Well, I'm founder of Create the Change, which is an organization that just aims to empower communities and take people's emotions, turn them to passion, and channel them in positive ways to create positive, social change in our communities. And just with everything going on since George Floyd, just like every other situation we've been through, seeing our people's pains, our frustrations, our anger, and just seeing it being to a point where it was like enough truly was enough. And we all witnessed it. The world went off. People burning down buildings. People, just really. Yep. And I can't even be mad at that, just because of what we've had to endure for so long, so many times. And we've tried as a people to be civil, and we've tried as a people to go through through the system and everything. But it's like nothing ever works. So I understood how people were reacting, but just me personally and who I am and my character, what I represent, I know that emotions will, will make you go left and right, but eventually those emotions will go away and nothing else will be done. If you're only moving and acting out of emotions, eventually you're going to get tired. Eventually you're going to forget about it and you're going to go back to your life as usual. But if you're actually passionate about the very thing you're fighting for, that's the motivation that it takes to keep going for the long run. And this fight against the system, this fight against police brutality, against racism, it's a long-term fight. We were in slavery for 400 years, and then Jim Crow after that. We haven't been out of that more for 100 years yet. So just even trying to balance it out, I would assume at the very least 400 years of work needs to be done just to reverse the 400 years of work damage that was done. So it's like you have to be in it for the long term, the long haul. And so what I've been doing is just providing a platform and a place and opportunity for people who feel this like everybody else in the world and that really want to make a difference, that really want to do their part, especially people that aren't Black, that are like, I don't know how to get started. I'm just awakening to this stuff. I'm just seeing this stuff for the first time. I don't know how I've been clueless. What is the organization that I can just use my voice, use my privilege, use my part, and then for Black people, just a place where they know they can safely express their pain, but know that they can also do some real work that will lead to hopefully, change and justice in the long term run. So I've been providing that space through our protest. And with our protest, it's not just about shouting, not just about chanting, but we're marching with a purpose. And it's really showing the community something different than what the media was showing. Media want to show a bunch of violence and a lot of this and that. But everywhere we go, we've had zero incidents in every protest that we've had. We work together. I try my best to do what I can to make relationships with that local police department, start building those relationships to the point where now they're letting us have the roads. Anytime I say, hey, I want to do a protest, they don't touch us. They don't do nothing to us. They're in full support, and they've been convicted to be more public within their own ranks in their own force about speaking up against, just being accountable, with other officers, speaking up against injustices, because they agree. There's many. I say all the time, our fight is not against all police officers. It's against racist ones that abuse their power, and in a system that does not hold them accountable. So I challenge the ones that did say, hey, I want to be a police officer. I want to be a hero. I want to protect and serve my community. Okay, if that's really what you want to be, then stand up for us now. Stand up and do your part on the inside while we do our part on the outside. And hopefully in the middle, we can find change. So just working together with police departments, and building those relationships, giving the community places to go to that are positive, that are safe, because safety is very paramount for me. If Black Lives Matters, that means the people that are marching with me at that time, their lives matter just as much. And I want to make sure everyone gets home to fight another day. And then just,
But
just doing
Kevin,
it.
speaking about
Go
the
ahead.
safety issue, there's an image of you that really kind of was circulating the Twitterverse,
Hmm.
social medias, and it was of you separating what looked like a situation.
Yeah.
Like it looked like a situation was about to pop off. This is you. This is some of the marches going on, but there's an image of you in between a police officer and some
Hmm.
protesters, and it looked like a situation was about to happen, and you were,
Yeah.
stepping
Yeah.
in. So, can you tell us a little bit about what was going on in that case?
So that was a protest that took place in Van Nuys. I didn't host that one. I've heard about it on, someone texted me the information, and
Yeah.
something just led me to go and show up. I came a little later. As soon as I arrived, they were already deploying their units. The police were deploying their units, like in full force. Like everybody was armed with their rubber guns, just in full force to stop the crowd because they were all in the streets and it was getting kind of rowdy. Um, and I just felt like my purpose there was to keep everyone safe. And I don't know, I didn't really even think about it. I kind of just moved on my own. And it got to a point where the majority of the protesters were trying to be peaceful. But then you had some individuals that either were just trying to cause a ruckus or they came to cause a ruckus. And they're throwing, water bottles at the officers. And, that was triggering them. So as soon as that was happening, they were ready. They all lined up and, was ready. And I got in the middle and I had my back to the officers and my hands out to the people. And I'm just telling them, like, there's no violence that's gonna happen today. And went back to the officers. I turned my back. I said, "Let me handle this. I'm sorry. We will take care. I will take care of this. I got y'all. Y'all stand down. Let me. Like, I'm giving my heart out in this. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
it's crazy." And then the people and then like individuals started kind of like going on with what I was saying, and the crowd just listened. And I kind of just went off on the crowd, but in a good way, and just telling them like why we were here. We came here to protest for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. The moment that we take away from that and focus on them, we're distracted. Now we lose the message of our protest. We'll stop being distracted by what you see. They're just here lined up. They're not doing a thing. They're just lined up. That is new, and it's nothing. Like we get so moved by these visuals when there's no power in it. Stick to what you're doing. They'll let us be. So they listened. I told them peaceful protest. They started chanting that with me. They turned back and was able to do their thing. And the captain of the police department of Van Nuys up to the back and said, "This is the orders I got. I want to. I'm told I got to shut this whole thing down. If you can get these people in order, your people." I was like, "That's not even my protest, but whatever you need, let's do it. Because I don't want nobody shot. I don't want nobody going to jail today. And I know what they came because they're everybody's intense just because everything that's been
Yeah.
happening like early. It was during the
Yeah.
early parts of all the riots and stuff, so they're ready to go. And I'm just like, no one's going to die, no one's getting shot, no one's going to jail today. This is going to be a peaceful
Yeah.
day. And so I was working with the police department, saying, look, what do you need for us to continue to do this and things to be good? They trusted me to keep everybody civil. They trusted me to keep everyone where they needed to be, and they said they would allow us to protest. About an hour and a half, 2 hours in, they eventually started retreating, and they let us just do our thing. And then they just said, hey, the curfew was at 6 o'clock. Everyone just has to be out of 6. I made sure to stay and made sure everybody left. So there was no rioting from that group or nothing that happened at 6 o'clock. Everybody went home safe that day. And I was like,
That's
it was
amazing.
work. It was work. Because so many fights still try to break out throughout with individuals situations because there was so much people and different officers doing different things. And I just got in the middle of every single one of them and just brought the peace, and everybody got back on page. And
Love
That's
it.
it
amazing.
was crazy.
That's amazing.
Love it.
Kevin, what's going through your head as exactly what you're saying? The police is ready to go, but also the protesters are ready to go as well. What's going through your head at that moment, just to you know figure out what to do at that point?
Just it's like this is not the fight. I'm like, y'all
Mm.
focus on something that is not the fight. We're fighting something deeper than the image of officers and guns, facing us down. And I know we have a lot of anger that we're carrying, a lot of weight that we're carrying from all the hurts. So I get they're trying to release. They see one thing and they want to release it all on that one thing as if that's it. And it's like, no, you got to remember that is not what we're here for. And it's just if I can just
Yeah.
continue to lead people to focus on the real fight, because we keep getting distracted with these unnecessary fights. We're never going to move anywhere. But if they can focus on the real fight, and then like we saw that day, collaboration start to happen between the protesters and the police officers, where it was meant to get ugly, but then it turned into working together. It turned to the police officers seeing us in a whole different light for maybe the first time, for their own experience, to where it's like, okay, maybe they do have something to say. Maybe there's something more we can do. Maybe they're not all animals. Maybe something, whatever that can give a positive effect, so that next time they're patrolling, they keep that image of, oh wait, there was that person or there was this group that were positive and they were human, because they're trained to look at us like we're not human.
Right.
If they can see us more in our humanity, it's unfortunate that we have to do that. But if they can see us more in our humanity, who knows how many more lives will be saved, down the road.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can
Most
see your
definitely.
passion,
Kevin,
Kevin.
what does? Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Rico.
Exactly what you said, Kevin. This is not the fight. What do you mean when you say this is not the fight?
The fight is not about getting our right now frustrations out on any white person, any police officer we see. That's not the fight. The fight is years upon years upon years of systemic racism, that has caused especially minorities, Black people, to always be at the bottom, to always not have a foot up in this world, to not be accounted for as a human, to from the prison system to jobs to communities to education, and not having the right programs in school. It's like there's a whole system that we actually are fighting against that is keeping us backwards, that's keeping us from getting to where we need to be as a people, and that's not allowing us to be equally seen as humans like any other person, and so that's the fight. And it's going to take us working together with those who believe in the same ideals that we believe, whether they're in blue, whether they're white, whoever claims to be an ally. We need those allies. Civil rights movement, they didn't do it by themselves. They had allies in the church. They had allies, white allies, Jewish allies. They had allies in politics. They had allies everywhere. Even in slavery, there were allies that helped shelter slaves while they were running. So it's going to take us working together to get change. It's not just us versus the world. Even though the racists made it them against us, but we got people that's saying, hey, we want to stand with you. We need to welcome that in, and we need to work together.
Absolutely. Kevin, man, you have so much passion. When you speak, you can hear it pouring out. And I just want to thank you for being a part of this movement and creating movements like this in a positive way. It almost seems like you've been like a public figure of racial injustice before. Have you ever faced this circumstance before? And if you have, can you speak on it?
You saying if I've ever faced just racial issues with like police or anything?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, as being a black man, of course. I mean, there's times where I was in the wrong neighborhood with a car, and getting pulled over, and police try to say, you know how people have those air fresheners on the top of
Yeah.
their thing.
Yeah.
You gotta say that's illegal, and that's why he pulled me over. And you're not allowed to have it because of expressive
Wow.
view. But it was just the wrong neighborhood,
Houseway. Okay.
and the only reason he had to use that excuse is because when he went to look me up and everything, my record was completely clean. There was nothing on there, and it's like, oh, he's a good citizen, whatever. It's like, okay, so this is why we pulled you over. You're not, and I'm like, okay, I ripped it right as soon as he said it. I ripped it right off. I was like, all right, there you go. Can I go? And he let me go. And I mean, there's been plenty of situations just with the work experiences with dealing with white bosses that just either even to the point where they get jealous because of my work ethic. I always do in any
Mm-hmm.
job I go. I'll work hard and I'll get promoted very quickly and easily. And when you get those white people that's been there for years and they're like looking down and you're like, who this black kid getting promoted, and they try to make up stuff in the workplace just to get just little petty things. Fortunately, nothing that has been too life threatening. Nothing in that nature. I mean, I guess any stop could be life threatening, but nothing at the moment that I would say. But really those situations, and what really drives me though is knowing that it happens to my brothers and sisters, that it happens to people that's just so close and so far. The fact that it happens to anyone, that's what drives me. People's pains, people's frustrations, people's angers, they move me because I know they're feeling something they don't know what to do with, and if I can be a help to them, if I can help them, guide them through that, and make the world a little better for them and other people, and especially kids and my future kids coming up,
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, as someone who's a father now, imagining that, and someone who will have more kids.
Yeah,
Um, Kevin, a couple things. So you recently put on an event to celebrate Juneteenth.
yeah.
So that was Juneteenth is a uniquely American thing. And so can you tell K-Man and K-Manians who are listening what Juneteenth is and why you were celebrating, and tell us about the event that you put on?
So Juneteenth is a day that celebrates when every single slave was actually free. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed 2.5 years before that the news of their of slaves' freedom got to Texas. So Texas, the slaves in Texas were free for 2.5 years, but did not know it. They kept that knowledge, like they've been slaves all their lives, and they kept that knowledge from them. And they got word 2.5 years later that they were free. And when they heard that, it's so beautiful because if it was me, I would have been pissed. But them,
Couldn't have been me.
I would have been like, "Are you serious?" But what
Facts,
they
though.
did, man,
Facts.
all they did was rejoice, and they celebrated because I can only imagine being a slave all your life and finding out I'm free at this moment. They were just happy. So it's just a day of celebration of
Mhm.
freedom. And why I chose to celebrate it and host this event was to remember where we came from, keep traditions that were lost throughout American history and integration, and also remember why we fight today. And we needed a break. We needed to pause from all the anger, all the pain, and focus on love, unity, and positivity, just to refuel us because the fight is not over. But we can remember, hey, we won fights before, and we've gotten this far. And let's take a trip down memory lane and remember how we got here, who got us here, and now this is why we fight today. This is why we can keep going. This is why it's our turn to continue to fight.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
man.
That's amazing. No, I know you actually dropped some news earlier today on your Instagram that your movie Viral
Oh yeah,
has actually advanced to the semifinals for the Los Angeles Film Awards.
yes, yes.
How excited are you about that? And can you tell us a little bit about Viral?
It's exciting. Viral was a short film I produced, directed, and starred in. I shot it last year, actually in October, and the timing of it is just crazy. For the
Yeah.
fact that it's in film festivals now, at the same time as all this stuff is happening. I didn't plan it this way, but it's neat. It's a needed message. And viral is just about a young man who is his younger brother is killed by a police officer, and you just follow his journey dealing with the different emotions that people go through when they face this, dealing of anger, dealing of hopelessness. Like there's nothing we can do. The officer, he got off. He just paid leave, and then he's presented with an option from someone else who is angry and is like, hey, I got the officer's address. We can go over there and handle that. And he's not that type of person. So he takes that, like he takes the gun from him. But then having that gun and knowing the address, he's now contemplating like, he's trying to justify his want for revenge. It's like, okay, I do have this option, and I could go over there and kill him. He sees the officer with his child, but the person that he is deep down, it doesn't allow him to do that, And so he comes back and he does it. He brings people together and he has a protest in front of the officer's house, and he makes a video out of it for it to go viral. And it's just trying to find a new way to achieve the justice that he wants and that he believes his brother deserves, and just showing people like you can navigate in their fear, navigate in the highs and the lows, but at the end of the day, turning that situation to passion and then making it into your purpose and doing something that can hopefully save another life, from being killed in the future.
Seems prophetic.
Yeah,
it's wild.
I like it,
it's
man.
Wild.
Sounds beautiful. We would definitely want to watch that film. It just sounds something that like I want to watch.
Sure.
Kevin, what I want to ask you, man, I heard this recently and it totally blew my mind. It was an old panel that was done. I think T.I. was on there. Man, there were so many different hip hop stars on there and
Killer Mike, that panel.
Yeah, Killer Mike. Killer Mike was on there too. There was someone that put in a comment. I don't know if Liz caught that, but they basically said it's Black people's fault why we're treated the way that we're treated now because of the way that we vote. What's your thoughts on that? And seeing that the election is coming up very soon, how do people move forward with voting?
That voting is something I push heavily. We were registering voters at a Juneteenth event as well. Voting is where it starts. The thing about voting is we weren't really ever taught really how to vote and and how to educate ourselves on voting. And the things that really are going to make the changes that we want to see is pausing on the president. Trump. I don't care. I can care less about. He wins. He don't wins. Whatever. What's really going to make that change is the local elections and the state elections. You're voting the right judges in that place. The DAs that get appointed, the police chiefs, the legislation that's written, the propositions. Those are the things that form how we are affected in our individual communities. So what we need really is local people in their communities to campaign and educate those neighborhoods, those areas, what's on their ballot, what's on their polls. And I challenge everybody. Go into the polls knowing who you want to vote for every single thing. The first time I voted was when Barack first ran. And I'm not going to lie, I only voted for Barack. That was it. I didn't know anything else. I just knew I'm 18. I'm about to vote for the first Black president. And I voted. After that, though, every other vote I have placed, I made sure to be an educated vote. And there's more power when you leave the polls knowing like you knew every single person you voted for. You know what they stood for. You know how they affect, what their stance on police brutality, what their stance on homelessness is, whatever it is, that issue that you are concerned about. The people that you have, the people that's on the ballot that you want to vote into place. And when you vote that way, and if we do that in a collective way, these fights that we have are easier. Because now when the next person dies, the next innocent Black kid is killed, now we have an ally on the inside that was voted for, that was appointed for, that we can go, hey, this, whatever the situation, and we already know that they're for us because they said that in their while they're running, that this is what they're fighting for. So now we can have them be held accountable for exactly what they stood for, And I think the more allies we have from the ground up, then we can work our way all the way up to the White House, and with the president and Senate, Congress, all of that.
Love it.
So beautiful. So we're getting to the end of our show, and at the end, we like to do a little, just a quick round of last thoughts. And so, again, this is an audience that's from the Caribbean. That's, it's the Cayman Islands that you're speaking to. Do you have any last thoughts for people who are watching, and anything you'd like to impart on them from your message of peaceful protest and trying to make change?
The only thing I would say is don't let the conversation die. Don't let this be like all the previous deaths where we go back to life as usual. We have to keep the awareness going for people to keep caring. It's easy to not care when there's nothing to when it seems like there's nothing to focus on. But people are dying every week. Even with George Floyd, there's been countless deaths afterwards. 5 or 7 people were hung from trees in 2020. It's still a problem. Like, there's still a problem. So we got to keep the conversation going. You got to collaborate, you got to stay consistent, and you got to be committed. Those 3 things are the key to getting the change we want to see. And know that it's not going to happen overnight, but we're in this for the long run. And if it's not for you, it's for your children's children that's going to come, that's going to benefit from the work that we do today.
Oh, man, that's amazing. That is amazing. Kevin, thank you so much for giving us your time, man. We really love and appreciate you, bro. And keep doing what you're doing. We're rooting you on. We're cheering you on. And hopefully in some capacity one day we can get to help you, man. Join in the fight.
Welcome, and thank you so much.
Yep.
Appreciate it, man. That is Kevin Welbeck, sorry. And we can catch him back hopefully on the show on the Homeland Daily. But
before you go, you're going to be on Oprah. Tell everyone how they can catch you with Oprah.
Why did we miss that one?
It's nothing major. She's doing a segment on fathers and asked 100 fathers to be a part of this show. And that's, I believe, next Tuesday on Oprah on Spotlight.
But low-key, you just said no big deal, but you did a whole Father's Day thing on Sunday with Devon Franklin and a bunch of other fathers. So don't play yourself.
It's a nice episode. It'll be nice. Killer Mike's on there, Tyler Perry. It's gonna be good. They got some great things to say.
Yeah, hey, not a big deal. Just Tyler Perry's gonna show up. Killer Mike's going.
I mean, big deal. Not a big deal at all. I'm just one of the 100. That's all.
I'm going to hang out with the greatest homeless person next week, and you're hanging out with Tyler. Thank you, Kevin, man.
Thank y'all so much.
All right, man. We really enjoyed having him on the show. Hopefully we do get him back on. That was amazing. Guys, do you want to kind of give your quick recap? We'll start with Liz. Just your final thoughts before we end the show.
Yeah, I think my last thought is how we can, as a Caribbean population we're a part of the same descendants as, Black Americans, just slightly. I mean, sometimes they put a little different tribes in different places. But the point is that I wonder how we as Caribbean people may see ourselves as being separate geographically and as such separate from the struggle. But we need to be allies because it affects us in ways that we've discussed before. And so I think, the way that Kevin spoke passionately about the allies that it took, the same way in the 60s, it didn't just happen in the US. Protests were in South Africa. Protests were everywhere for apartheid to end. That was, worldwide. And so I want us to think about how we can, in Cayman, our population, make an impact.
Yep. Most
love that.
definitely.
Rico, what about you, Rico?
You know what? I would agree with Liz completely. I think it's just super important that we have our ears open during this time. And especially, with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, it's something that is creating amazing conversations within the home and really being eye-opening towards families as well. Because colorism definitely exists in the Caribbean. Racism exists in the Caribbean. I think it's time that we all are avoiding the big elephant in the room. So just big congratulations to Kevin as well. He's doing amazing things and much more to come. And I'm super excited for his film Viral and excited for Oprah as well. So there's a lot of things coming out for him. So definitely big congrats.
Yeah, thank you so much to Rico for being exactly like our governor and agreeing with everything the premier says, which is Liz. Appreciate that, Rico. My final thoughts is basically, man, something that was said recently. I think someone basically said, "Hey, I don't know why all these people are attacking us. We didn't do anything." And this is like usually like a white person saying this. And I said, "Look, it's not your fault. It's definitely not your fault. But you inherit what your ancestors started, and this is something that's not your fault, but it is your fight, and it's going to be your fight. And we have to all stand up and do something about it. And making an excuse and saying that, oh, we don't do racism here in Cayman because all my family look different complexions. No, that's not true. We've said that so many times. It does exist here, but forget about that. You don't think it exists here. We need to do what Liz just said. We need to be allies. We need to protect what is right. And what is right is for us to stand up and make an impact. I don't know what that looks like. I'm not going to pretend like I know what that looks like. But you thinking about it is the first step. And you speaking up is the first step. And that's all it takes. So I don't think there's anything else to be said. I love when Liz invites people because we just really get some really good educational topics. And I'm really intrigued by that.
So what are you saying about my guest? You saying about my guest?
Why are we going there, Rico? Why are we going there?
You did it, Dave. You did it.
Then why two of you pointing at me? Like, what did I do? First of all,
wrap it up. Let's go. Hurry up.
First of all, watch your energy levels. All right. All right, man. My apologies. Rico invites really good people too. I'm just talking about Liz.
You know, we are going to have an amazing guest tomorrow, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Lynn Bawden, she's a lawyer, bed and breakfast owner, and she's just all around good energy, positive vibes. So we're super excited to have her on the show tomorrow.
Rico's guest, his amazing guest.
Episode 46 tomorrow is going to be on Entrepreneur Thursdays. This is episode 45, Hump Wednesday. We love y'all. Stay safe. Don't forget, God love you. And
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link no